Cool. So as Haley said, I'm Eddie. I'm Eddie Sawyers. I'm the head of product here at WorkBuzz. Coming up to nearly a year now at WorkBuzz, which is exciting. It's gone very fast. And my role at WorkBuzz is to work in the wider product and engineering team to lead the product function and help set where the direction of the product is going to go in the future. So what I'm going to take you through today is a a taster really of what's coming up soon. And to start us off though, I'm going to remind people of a few things that we have released recently, which may have gone under the radar. So I'm just going to quickly go through a couple of recent updates. So the first one is self-reported demographics. So on Pulses, we now allow customers to create surveys where the respondents to their surveys can actually add demographics themselves. Now, this is really useful if you want to slice and dice your data in different ways, but you don't actually hold that demographic data in your HR system already, so you can't set the survey with it already. This allows you to set surveys and ask those questions so that your respondents can add that data, and that just adds more color to your data. So we know that from customer feedback, this is quite a popular one, but I wanted to just reiterate that we've done this for, and hopefully people are getting benefits from that.
Yeah, and just to jump in on this point as well, so this was recently released only last week. We did send an email, marketing email out to all clients, just to let them know. So for all of you, if you go into your admin platform, you should now be able to see that feature on there.
Thanks, Haley. And the second one is the opinion question table view. So those of you familiar with the WorkBuzz dashboard, you will see the opinion questions look or have looked previously very much like the screen on the left, the picture on the left-hand side, which is group the questions by their categories. So to see the actual detailed question, you have to click into each one and you see the questions that were asked and the scores. Now, we know from feedback that if you want to compare those, if you wanted to say compare purpose with well-being questions, you have to click into purpose, you have to memorize what those were, click back out, click into well-being and try and hope that your memory is good. Well, what we've realized is from feedback that can be solved very simply by creating a table of those questions. So now there's a new view all button. So if you log into your dashboard, you'll see a new view all button. And this opens up a table view where you've got all of those category questions in one go. So you can see them all in one and can compare them very easily in one table. And very, very soon, the end of the next sprint, hopefully, the development sprint, you'll be able to sort those columns as well. So you'll be able to sort from impact and engagement high to low, just to make it a lot easier for you to compare your data. So hopefully, again, small changes, but impactful changes in terms of the usability of our platform. So on to the things that we're working on now. So no more released stuff. What's going on now in WorkBuzz? So one of the first things I want to talk about is demographic cross-filtering. And I always end up tangling my words when I try and say demographic too often. But this is all about giving customers more ways to slice and dice their data. So earlier in the year, we enhanced our heat maps in terms of how you could do cross-filtering. This is finalizing that and adding the ability to filter by multiple demographics and another demographic. So a good example could be, age of the respondents versus tenure. You might want to map that across. That's something you can do now. Haley's probably got a better example. She always does. But that will help make that more powerful in terms of analyzing your data in the dashboard.
Yeah, so I think, sorry, just to jump in on that. So a good example might be that if you want to look at across multiple departments in your hierarchy, you want to view 16 to 24-year-olds that are female across multiple departments and then have that all lined up in the heat map. Whereas at the moment, there isn't that ability on WorkBuzz. If you select multiple demographics and multiple departments, then it will just combine the data together. So with this new update, it means that you'll be able to select multiple demographics like looking at it on a hierarchy basis and see it on that same heat map view as well.
The next thing is for those of you who are on premium and you have action planning, what we're introducing is the ability to have multiple action plans per user. So if you have a user who looks after different departments, say let's have a crazy idea of a finance manager who also looks after engineering, let's say. Hopefully that would never happen. But you might have that. And they are not going to want one action plan that covers both departments. The focus areas will be very different in terms of where should they focus to improve on engineering versus finance. They're largely going to be different. So how do we solve that? Well, the way we've done this is that we've introduced multiple action plans. So they can have a plan and a focus of where to improve their finance team and a completely separate one of how to focus and improve their engineering team. And where this really helps is where you've got matrix managers. So we know a number of our customers have these managers who look after a broad range of departments. And this will help make planning much more useful for them because they'll be able to split their teams into the logical sections and have focused plans for them. To go hand in hand with that is department filtering. So those of you who've got action planning at the moment, the reporting of action planning is at the top level. So you can see how many goals have been created, how many action plans there are, who's doing well, who's focusing on what, but that's at a top level. What we're introducing is the ability to filter that down. So if you're an HR leader and you want to see how your sales team are doing, you'll be able to click on sales and it filters that reporting by that department. So you can see who's making plans there, who's got goals, what are they focusing on, which could be different to the rest of the organization. So give you a lot more insight and control in that. The other advantage here is that you could actually start delegating some of the responsibility of action planning down. So if you've got a divisional manager, or if you talk about your fictional finance and engineering manager, you could give them access to this view and they will just see their departments, but it enables them to really report and chase up maybe their team on where are you with these goals? Where are you with these action plans? Rather than just reliant on HR pushing this. So both of these changes just make action planning a lot more useful and a lot stronger as a product. Then the next thing I want to talk you through is improved look, feel, and filtering. So what we're going to be doing for the report dashboard is really bring it up to date with how didn't realize that I didn't put the view on there. Really update on how it looks. So we've obviously gone for a new branding here at WorkBuzz. So this will bring the product in line with that new branding. It will help unify the different areas of the product that have perhaps felt a little bit different at times. And this is how we're going to, roughly speaking, how it's going to look going forward. So we're going to be making the graphs much more accessible, much easier to use. And then the step after this is that we're going to address some of the usability issues that we've been hearing in terms of filtering. Filtering is such a powerful tool in the platform, such a used feature. We're going to make that much easier than it is today. And we're testing some various ways of doing that at the moment, but we're going to make that much easier, and that's coming soon. And then we're going to address some of the navigational issues and heat mapping just to make that whole experience a lot easier for people using our report dashboard. So it's quite an exciting change. Looking forward to getting this live and getting this in the hands of some of you customers. Then another thing we're working on is multi-language for the dashboard and action planning. So this is separate to how the survey UI. I don't want to confuse things by, we've already got multi-language in our survey product. That's not changing. That's not what this is. This is putting multi-language into the report dashboard and our action planning tool. And it won't be the same languages. It will be the key languages for your customers. Well, no, for yourself, sorry, our customers. And this will enable you, so if you've got a diverse organization, you've got HR departments and team leads in different parts of the world, you'll be able to translate the reporting dashboard and the action plan into a language that works for them so that they don't lose anything in translation. It just makes it a lot easier for them to use. So this is coming soon. This is going to be on our premium tier, just to call it out and make that clear. This will be a premium thing. Nothing's changing on the survey multi-language. That's a completely separate piece. This is just for the reporting and action planning. And how it will work, there will be a very simple little option in the bottom right-hand corner where you can quickly switch between the languages that you've chosen. Then, I don't know whether there's any questions, Hayley, at this point.
Yes, we just answer some of these before we move on. So going back to at the very beginning of what we've currently just released. So we've had a question, will the question grouping / sorting be available retrospectively or only for new surveys going forward?
Oh, that's a very good question.
So yeah, once you go on the dashboard, you'll be able to, if you've had surveys that have just closed, then you'll be able to see, we'll use that functionality for those surveys that are already on your dashboard. Then when will all of these new developments be released? So I think on this question came up, Eddie, around the action planning updates. So the filtering.
Yes. So in terms of the action planning updates, our aim is towards the early August time, mid-August perhaps, to get those in place. They're testing a lot of this at the moment, so I don't want to commit them too heavily, but we're talking weeks, not months, in terms of the action planning ones.
And the look and feel as well.
Yeah, so the look and feel changes, we're aiming for a September release on those. They'll probably be in stages, so we'll probably start with the fonts and the colors first, and then we'll move on to the filtering and the navigational changes afterwards. So it'll be done in stages, but we're aiming for the first release of that to be September.
Great, thank you. And then just a couple more questions around the multi-language results dashboard piece. So is there a maximum number of languages we can have the dashboard in?
Yes, we're still nailing down the exact number, but it will be between 6 and 8 languages.
Okay, and then another language question about would Welsh language be a possibility?
So I would say yes, because I believe it's supported by Google. So that's kind of our rule. If it's supported by Google Translate, then we can support that. So I'd need to double check, but I would assume.
I'll take that a note down on that one. And then one more question, sorry, before we move on. Is there any development on being able to get a PDF or Excel extract of action plans from ACT?
So we have already on ACT, you can download individual action plans to PDF. We have got some work in the plan to actually make that more usable, but there's nothing settled yet in terms of how we would deliver that. So that's why I haven't put that on our list as yet.
Okay, so yeah, just around, so the PDF on the action planning just shows the goals, not the details.
Yes, absolutely. We've been talking about that recently, about how we address that. So yes, we are going to look into how we can do that. It's annoyingly not as simple as we wanted it to be, but yes, that is definitely in our thoughts.
Yeah, no, I take a note on that one as well. Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. That's all for now.
Okay, great. So moving on to what's coming next in our plan. So this is a bit further out. Timelines here, I'll struggle to give because there's a little bit more fuzzy, but some of these things are still being scoped out and designed. But hopefully this will give you a color of where we're going, so give you an idea of direction. So the first one is an open API. So what we want to produce is an API that will help you automate your data from your systems and platforms into WorkBuzz and take away a lot of the manual pain around uploading people, uploading departments and demographics, and making that a more automated process. It also allows us to get surveys out to different platforms that you use more regularly. So this is quite an important change that we're kicking off. Like I think this week we're in terms of how we're going to deliver that. So hopefully this won't be too much further away either than some of the things that we've talked about. But this should have quite a good impact for those who have requested something like this in the past. And then we've got email and kiosk access. So at the moment, your respondents can either be email or they can be kiosk, and that's how they access the surveys. But we know from feedback that some of you need the ability to do both because different circumstances, different surveys, different timings of when you catch people, it makes sense for them to be able to do both because maybe they don't have their email to hand. So what we're doing is we're going to rework how that works under the hood to enable users, the respondents, sorry, to be email and kiosk so they could access their survey either way, depending on what makes sense at the time. And hopefully that will help increase response rate as well because there'll be no reason, no barrier to them. Then improve text analytics. So we want to take our current sentiment analysis feature and make it much better than it is now in terms of new technology. AI has moved on very fast. We're going to leverage a lot of that into this and make sure we're providing you more actionable insights and going down to a much more granular level in terms of, not just themes, what are the micro themes that are coming out of that? What are the, emerging themes? What are the things that you need to be flagging, to really look at? Rather than you have to delve around in the data to uncover this, we're going to proactively uncover that for you using our new improved feature here. And then verticalized surveys. So what we want to do is change our surveys so that they align better with the industries that you are in. So rather than a one size fits all survey template, we're going to be looking at the industries that our customers serve and really align the questions to what your goals are, what the specific challenges are in those industries to make sure that you are asking the best questions so you can get the best answers. Rather than, as I said, one size fits all, this will take those to a different level to hopefully improve your engagement and improve the data that you're getting. And then the last one here is easier survey setup and admin. So we know there are bits of the setup and scheduling that we can improve upon in terms of the usability in the platform. And we're going to address a lot of those concerns here and make that much easier for you to do the things that you want to do. It will certainly make some of our internal team happy as well. So it's a win-win change on this one. And then if I just go to the last slide of what I'm going to show you today, is that we're planning on something that we're calling internally our next generation dashboard. So this sits separately from our look and feel updates that we're going to be doing. We want to be really enhancing the reporting experience and kind of reimagine how you would interact with that dashboard. And so this is this image here. So I want to stress this is a guide, not a blueprint. We may change how this looks, but I wanted to add a bit of color for around what I'm showing you. And what we're looking to do is orientate our dashboards much more around the jobs that you're trying to achieve, around the roles that you are, so more personalized depending on what role you have, and also bring all of the different survey data together. So instead of having it just split by engagement or exit or onboarding, bring that together because a lot of that data is complementary and actually can bring new insights to life if we pull them all together. A great example would be around retention, where you ask questions typically in an engagement survey around why you would stay, but also in your life cycle surveys, you've got that data as well. Let's bring them all together so that you're not hunting around in different places, you're actually seeing a unified insight. So that's the idea around next generation dashboard, much more personalized to what you're trying to achieve, and also the role and probably the experience of the users as well. And that is everything that I have to share on the roadmap for you.
So we've got a few minutes. So if anybody else wants to pop in any questions, then we have got time to answer those. So there was a question, Eddie, going back a couple of slides around email and kiosk. So that's great news about email and kiosk. When will this be something that we can use?
Again, I don't want to commit too much to timelines, but this is something that we are looking to kick off in the next month or so, and then hopefully, we're talking probably this quarter, early next.
Great, thank you. Is there any other questions from anyone else? Just give it a few minutes. So just while the questions were, if anybody else has got any questions that they wanted to add, just in terms of wrapping up. So thank you so much to everyone that's joined today's webinar, and I hope you found it useful, and I hope it gets you excited about some of the updates that WorkBuzz are working on as we go into the rest of the year. Your client success manager will follow up after this webinar with a copy of the slides and the recording. And if you've got any questions about anything that you've seen today or anything that you want to look at in a little bit more detail, please ask your client success manager, and we can set up some more time with you, or they can speak to Eddie, get the answers and share those with you. Thank you for the comments. But yeah, really grateful for you all joining today. And yeah, we will follow up shortly. Thank you. I don't think there's any other questions, so we will end it there.
Awesome.
Thank you, everybody. Take care. Thank you.